I'm glad to see you all made it up here today. I want to talk about how you can apply your expertise to open source in general and Hyperledger in specific. We need you. We need your involvement and we need your expertise. Who am I? I am Rye Jones. I'm a community architect for Hyperledger. I got started in the tech industry back in the mid-'80s, and I have worked on delivering products for the entire time. I love shipping software, and I love shipping software that people love. And I want to enable you to also ship that software. As a community architect, my charter is to find and remove impediments to developer engagement in the Hyperledger community. But for the purposes of this talk, I'm going to expand that a little bit and say that it is to find and remove impediments to people getting engaged in the Hyperledger community. And of course, you are those people that we need. So a quick show of hands, who here is a developer? Okay, excellent. And GitHub profiles? Who has GitHub? Okay, so like most of the developers. And who here is an expert? Not so many hands, come on. Everyone is an expert at something. I would talk a little bit about Hyperledger. Hyperledger is a nonprofit open source consortia. The Linux Foundation, which is my employer, provides the legal and management framework, the technical support for the project to do what it does, which is to develop blockchains for business use. These blockchains are not proof of work based. They have other ways of reaching consensus. And we have a lot of companies that are competitors in the marketplace that are working with us to deliver open source blockchains. I will come back to this slide a little bit later. If you want to get involved in the community, if you are an expert, and I assert everyone is an expert in something, we have community working groups. These working groups are what helps drive and define the development of the blockchains of the tools. I want to highlight a couple of these working groups. In particular, the identity working group is working on a very hard problem, which is how do you securely prove identity without having your identity used against you? At least twice in the 20th century, people have used secure records of identity and group membership for genocide. In Rwanda, records that were collected with good intention were used to facilitate genocide. The same thing in the Netherlands. In World War II, the Netherlands were very efficient at identifying Jews, and they had the highest per capita loss because their records were so good. So it's a sticky problem. It's a hard problem. If you're interested in helping solve that problem, I would ask you to get involved with the Identity Working Group. Another working group is the Public Sector Working Group, which has only just gotten started in the last couple of months. The Public Sector Working Group is for people who are working in government or with government, trying to find use cases and solutions to problems that can be solved with blockchain. I was recently in a conference in Seattle. I was talking with Navy leadership, US Navy leadership, and they have a lot of interesting problems that they are trying to solve. One of those is the provenance of replacement parts. You want to know the life cycle of a part. If a particular part has been found to be defective or needs replaced fleet-wide, where are all of those parts? What are the history of those parts? Those are the types of problems that the Navy is trying to solve. Land ownership records are also difficult in the developing world. Land ownership records may not exist. It may be that your family has lived on a piece of land for several hundred years, but there is no actual written record of that. In the developing world, you can use blockchain to help facilitate the recognition of the wealth that that family has in terms of the land in a way that cannot be taken when someone decides to change the rules. It's the same issue in the developed world, where if you've ever bought a house, you know when you're going through title clearance and finding out what claims exist on the land, it's hard and it's expensive. Blockchain, the Public Sector Working Group, is working on land title issues. A group that just spun up in the last few weeks is the Social Impact Working Group. The Social Impact Working Group, their charter is to find use cases where you can use blockchain for social good. If you are interested, they just started. I don't even think they've had a formal meeting yet. If you think you have something to add, please jump on board. The last one that I want to discuss in detail is the Healthcare Working Group. The Healthcare Working Group is pretty healthy. They're fairly robust. They have a meeting every other week, and they have split up into a few subgroups. They have subgroups for supply chain in healthcare, for the payer subgroup, for the EMR subgroup. If you've ever dealt with electronic medical records in your personal life, you know how difficult it can be to have ownership of those records, which are very important to you, right? Those are records about you. And it's very difficult to transfer them and to prove provenance and to make sure that they have not been messed with. The patient member subgroup is also very active, so active in fact that they developed a subgroup, which is the Donor Milk Project. The Donor Milk Project is to facilitate the tracking and delivery of breast milk. As it turns out, breast milk, like blood, is something that people are at risk that they need, that they cannot get. And much like blood, there are networks, some of which are formal and some of which are informal, where women can donate breast milk and where parents or people who are caring for infants can request it. Many of these are essentially private Facebook groups. This group feels that they'll be able to use blockchain to more effectively match donors with the people who are in need of breast milk, the infants whose lives are at stake. This gives me an opportunity to brag about my sister a little bit. My sister, attorney, practicing lawyer in Illinois. She got involved in the Healthcare Working Group. She got involved in the Donor Milk Project. And her feeling after attending a few of the meetings was that she was the only person on the call who had ever actually pumped milk. She was the only person on the call who had raised kids. There was a huge amount of ignorance about the motivation, about why people get involved. This is what I mean when I say everyone is an expert. She is a professional, she is a lawyer, and she was able to apply this expertise, which was not obvious to anyone else that was already in the group, to move that group forward and move them in a better direction. For developers, we have a lot of projects, a lot of places for you to get involved. We have 5 blockchains, as you can see across the top of the slide. They are implemented in a bunch of languages. So if you are interested and you want to get involved in developing the blockchains themselves, and you are an expert in Burrow is written in Go, for instance. Fabric is also written in Go. If you're an expert in Go, those projects need you. Indy, I don't remember off the top of my head what Indy is written in. Aroha is C++, and Sawtooth is Python and moving to Rust. Fabric and Aroha and Sawtooth all have SDKs for various languages. So if you want to write smart contracts in a language of your choice, for instance, Fabric allows you to write smart contracts in Go natively, and Sawtooth supports EVM. Burrow is the reference implementation of the EVM. It's EVM 1.0. That code base was donated through Sovereign, and it's now part of the Hyperledger Foundation. We have quite a number of tools for measuring and understanding blockchains. We have Caliper. Caliper is a new project. It is a performance measuring tool for blockchains. It supports several blockchains. It's, of course, all of this is Apache too. Cello is an interesting project. It is blockchain as a service. It allows you to orchestrate your blockchain networks. It supports EC2. It supports OpenStack. I'm pretty sure it supports GCE. Composer is also interesting. It allows you to build your business cases in a fairly nice UI, essentially in JavaScript, and build your blockchain network to support that. Explorer allows you to view and explore your data on the blockchain. That code came in from DTCC. And Hyperledger Quilt is an implementation of the Interledger protocol, which allows you to link assets on one chain to assets and transactions on another chain. Any questions? Nope. We have meetups. If you are looking for a way to get engaged in the community, meetups are an easy way to find people that are interested in the same thing that you're interested in. If you are looking to get speaking opportunities, a lot of the meetups that I have been involved in are hungry for speakers. If you are an expert, they are looking for people to talk about what they're working on, the problems they're trying to solve, the use cases that they have. This is a great opportunity for you as an expert to get involved and engage with the community and change the future of Hyperledger. We have a lot of tools for you to engage with the community. We have a chat system, a lot of mailing lists. All of our repos are on GitHub. We have a wiki, which is moving to Confluence. And we have bug reporting. We also have a bug bounty for security bugs on Fabric. We have been awarding bounties of up to $5,000 for bugs that have been found in Fabric for CVEs in Fabric and the like. If you are a security researcher and you would like to make some money, I think Fabric is a rich environment. For coding, it is much like any other open source project. It's simple. Grab the guides, get the repo, find an issue, and jump in. It is fairly straightforward to get on chat. We have a very active chat community. If you want to get on the Sawtooth channels or on the Fabric channels, those are easily the most active. And I think you will find developers that are greedy for pull requests. Everyone likes to get bugs fixed. Everyone likes to add features. And I think you will find a very receptive audience to your proposed changes. We have resources to get involved. We have a couple of free edX courses. This edX course is about 40 hours, a little bit over 40 hours. If you work through the first 10 or 12 hours, you're going to know more than most of the people that you run into who claim that they are a blockchain expert. I think it is worth your time to spend a few evenings to start on the edX course and start working your way through. One thing that I would ask is that if you do complete it, keep in mind that you can help pull someone along. Find someone in your life who is also interested and help work with them and get them involved. Help them take the edX course. It's really a great resource, even if you're not a Hyperledger developer. The new version of this is coming up soon. I don't know exactly what the release date is for it, but soon. We have for business, this is another edX course that we have that is free. It's more aimed at business, at the business users. So if you're interested, I would ask you to take this course. We have a big meetup in Basel in December. It's open to the public. You're all welcome to come. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's our first annual global forum. We are, I think we have 200 and, well, I don't remember the number of sponsors. Sorry, off the top of my head. Hundreds of sponsors. We have webinars ongoing. We have lots of how-to videos. We have training. Soon there will be training and certification courses for Fabric system administrators and for Sawtooth system administrators. The curriculum for those is done. The courses are under development. Those should be released here in the next few months. We have white papers. We have a lot of reading material. We have a vendor directory if you're looking for someone to solve problems in your business to implement your use case. Check out our vendor directory. We have a lot of expert vendors there. We have a lot of university outreach. If you are at a university, if you are an instructor or you are a student and you are looking for material, please get in touch. We have a team would like to talk to you. We have a jobs board, and we have a industry showcase which shows how blockchain is being used in different industries. And that is the end of the presentation. Are there any questions other than why was it so short? No. Thank you for your time.